Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are checking out some more IU because you guys seem to really like my Love What's All reaction, and I mean, IU never misses. I love her music. So we're gonna be checking out it's just the only way I can think of to say it. But I picked this one purely because our girl ji-eun is in it from New Jeans. So that's why I wanted to go to this one. There's actually no other reason for it. And there's another feature on it, but I don't actually know the singer. I think she's a vocalist, but I don't actually know anything about her. So sorry about that. I may have something and just not known who it was, but I don't actually have any background on that. So definitely leave me some comments with knowledge on that if you have it. But I wanted to check out this song because ji-eun's in it. And that's a crossover I didn't know that I needed until I heard that this was happening. So we're going to be checking out the lyric video first so I can just hear the song. We can analyze lyrics, production, vocals, obviously, and then I'll get into the MV after it. And I'm just hopeful that the MV doesn't leave me completely heartbroken the way that Love Wins All does, because that song, every time I hear it, it gets me in some emotional place. If I see the MV, I will cry. I don't know if that ever fades away, but that's just kind of where I'm at. So I'm hoping that this one will be a little more gentle with me, but we're gonna find out. So let's check out the song. I'm definitely not ready for this, but also I'm kind of excited. We'll see how long that lasts, honestly. Ooh.
It's not about F, not about L. We got something else. 뒷짐을 진 채 따라갈래. 그녀의 긴 발자국.
Ooh, okay. The guitars, it's got a little bit of a funky feeling to it. The little walk up on the guitar. Even her vocals, they have this flip up that she's doing. Even the lyric of walking in footsteps, there is this walking feeling to the vocal melody. So it's got this like up and down to it, which I wonder if that's going to be reflected in the story, this up and down feeling to whatever the situation is that we're describing. I don't know enough yet. I love those harmonized vocals too. I'm sorry, the little break in her voice there, it's not really a cry. It was, I don't want to say squeak because that sounds a little bit like it's a mistake or I'm talking down or something, but she put a little tiny break in her voice there that was just, it added a bit more texture to the overall sound, which is really nice. Right there.
같은 눈동자를 가진 그녀를 닮아서일까.
No, no, hang on, ma'am. The shh that she did, and then everything pulling back. There's something about the melody. You know what it makes me think of? It almost has 007 spy feeling to it. The melody of it. There's like this dark undertone to it, jazzy. It's definitely something that feels a little bit older, that pulling from older musical styles in the melody. I love the way that she softened her voice up in that part. Wow, I can't interrupt her because I was too mesmerized by what she was doing. She always sounds fantastic, but gosh, she sounds fantastic in this. I love this jazzy, funky sound that this song has. The strings too. Gorgeous. Okay, she sounds great. She sounds great. She sounds so good on this. She always does. From what I've heard so far, I haven't heard a ton of new jeans yet, but she always sounds great. I said before where I was thinking, does the melody going up and down, is that going to be reflected in our story? And now we're on a seesaw up and down again. Sometimes I pay attention to things. I love this guitar. It's really distorted and it's coming in. I remember it mostly on the right side, but coming in almost jarring in how distorted it is and the short duration of it. And I think it fits with this back and forth, even a joyful nightmare, juxtaposing two things together. And so having the softer melody parts, especially with Haeun's voice, she has a very soft, breathy quality to her voice. Then having this jarring, very distorted guitar coming in these spurts, it's just adding this turmoil underneath this facade of calm and softness.
즐거운 악몽이지 우리는 실수에 올라 또 오르락내리락
I love the vocal melody. Oof. Oh, that little flip up she did. All like that falsetto there. Beautiful. Ooh, I love the line of lips full of stories. Just the image of that, of someone who has so much to say and yet isn't. Right? Because it's not about telling the stories. It's the image of the lips makes me think it's closed mouth, but they have so many stories that they could be saying, which is a fascinating image there. I love the vocal melodies in this too. Oh, she sounds gorgeous. Her tone is just beautiful. Oh no, she did that little like break, like yodel in her voice. Ooh, that guitar. Like she has like a very forward, bright sound to her voice, which I think contrasts so well. IU has kind of a light, breathy, a fairly fast vibrato, which adds this kind of, I don't know, fluttery feeling to her voice. And she could definitely get to points where she kind of digs more into a chest range and she gets some more closure, but she tends to have this very airy, bright sound to her voice. And then you have Haeun, who can get into these gorgeous, darker tones whenever she wants to, but she tends to have lots of air, very breathy. There's this natural darkness to the feeling of her voice, and yet it has this lightness to it. It blends with IU's voice, where like IU has kind of this fluttery voice. There's kind of like some space. I don't know if I'm describing that super well, but it feels like there's some more space in it, whereas Haeun has more of a full legato feeling to the way that she sings, and it kind of fills in those spaces with IU's voice. And then you have this vocalist where she is more of like this bright, pingy, forward sound. I think she debuted the first in this like lineup, because I think that she's definitely debuted before IU. So she has like a little bit of an older style of singing as well, which I feel like fits with this hold back production that's happening here. It's got a little bit more of a bluesy feeling, and I think that it fits with her voice really well. I wonder if this is about, I'm trying to get like the story of the song, and it seems almost like they're speaking about themselves or a representation of femininity. It almost feels like a commentary on on women in music or women in places of spotlight where they're in the public eye for whatever reason. And this idea of not really recognizing that person, needing to put on a certain facade. Even I use line where she's talking about like her eyes are the same as mine. The eyes, the soul behind the image is the same, but there's a certain image being put forward that is almost unrecognizable. And I feel like maybe that's where the shh comes from. This secret, this we're not allowed to talk about it. So many different things. Like I know that in South Korea, there's definitely a double standard when it comes to being a woman in any kind of showbiz, whether that's music or otherwise, compared to being a man in showbiz. There's definitely one here in the West, in North America. And there's definitely things where there's a general consensus of you don't talk about it. And it almost feels like that one, not talk about certain things that happen being a woman in showbiz. And also it feels almost like needing to put on a certain facade and be the performer and be the stage name, even when something is happening in your own life. Needing to put on the smile, needing to put on the performance, even if there's a bunch of turmoil happening in your own life. Again, that juxtaposition of like joyful nightmare. You have to put forward whoever you are as a performer when you need to be performing, regardless of what you may be going through in behind the scenes. And there is like a certain escapism to it of being able to put aside whatever you're struggling with to put on the character, the mask of who you are as a performer and get to be somebody else for a little while that doesn't need to deal with all of that other stuff. Maybe that's what I'm getting so far. That's my vibe. I don't know if that's actually what the song is about because it seems a little bit vague in some ways. And again, that may be because if it is what I think it is talking about, there's still restraints there of like what they're allowed to openly say. So it just makes me wonder. And I think that would be really cool if that is the concept that the song has, because you have like multiple generations of women vocalists here, right? And them all having like a similar thing that they're going through. So it's talking about how it's something that hasn't changed as much as it should, or there's like a generational being passed down from one person to the next feeling to it, taking on this responsibility throughout the ages and how it's normalized in a way that maybe it shouldn't be. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but love bringing in this very bright forward pingy voice into the mix of the overall sound of the song. I love the guitars too. Ah, to those girls like unbreakable codes. Maybe I'm onto something. Maybe I know what the song is about. Apparently I was too good at guessing what Love Wins All was about, because some people were in the comments being like, how did you get that so quickly? I don't know. Sometimes my brain clicks, sometimes the song goes right over my head and I have no idea what it's about. There's definitely reactions on this channel where I went through the whole song, no idea. Absolutely not even close to what the song was about. So I'm not perfect, but I think I might be onto something with this one. Ooh. Hang on, we're going back for that note. Oh. I got chills with how like drawn out that final shh was. Dang. Oh, there was one line. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I got the connecting each other. I thought maybe this would be something about a relationship of some kind, whether or not it was romantic or platonic connecting between someone. But now it feels like it's a generational connect. Maybe all women in entertainment can connect to this, regardless of age, regardless of what time they were kind of in their height of their career, across across different cultures and ethnicities and stuff like that. It's something that connects all of them. Unbreakable codes. I can't remember, like the freedom to name and like long held emotions, being able to actually talk about what they're feeling, what they're going through, and then ultimately becomes ashes within me. That name, like not being able to actually say it. Again, going back to that lips full of stories where I was talking about how it feels like a closed mouth, that there's so much wanting to be said behind them, but they're staying shut. You know, that shh, right? Like that being hushed. And this idea of like wanting to say it, but then it becomes like ashes on your tongue almost. It becomes this thing, that this fire that dies before it can actually come out into the world and be something that you can actually say. It's almost ashes. We have like red here, and fire makes me think of anger or frustration. Definitely could be those of not being able to talk about things that make you angry or frustrated, especially since I feel like anger is usually painted in this negative light. We see anger as not a good thing, depending on circumstances or part of the world. You're a man. I feel like men, it is much more acceptable for them to be angry, and in a lot of times it's only acceptable for them to be angry. I speak as someone from North America, where in general, if men are going to be emotional, it's supposed to be anger, because like other emotions are lesser or weaker in some way. I don't know how much that translates to South Korea, because it may be that anger is also not acceptable for men, and it's more of a be well-mannered and polite and in control of yourself. That might be something that is more acceptable, especially in showbiz, but it certainly is for women in general. Anger is not seen as something that women are allowed to feel, even though they do. And it feels like that might be something that they're alluding to, things that anger and frustrate them, and them not being able to talk about it because it's not acceptable or it's not what they're supposed to. So they have to keep quiet and not let it show externally, and they never get to actually speak up for the things that make them angry or frustrated. I don't know. Those are my thoughts so far, what I think the song is about. Maybe I'll see the MV and I'll get a different idea, but so far that was my take. I love the jazzy, bluesy feeling to the overall song. The guitars were fantastic. The vocal melodies were just super interesting. That like up and down cadence that they had, the way that they would flip into falsettos and softer tones, which I kind of want to go back and hear some of the points where they kind of soften their voices, because I think that the lyrics there might be more telling in the context of generally femininity being seen as like more gentle and demure. Whether or not there is some pointedness to the lyrics where they soften up their voice, where that may be where they are kind of juxtaposing the expectation with what they actually want to say. I don't know. We're gonna go check out the MV though. All right, let's see what this MV has for me. I just want to not completely bawl my eyes out at the end. That's it. That's the only request that I have. I can, however, see that this MV is longer than the song again, which makes me nervous, but here we are. A motor of some kind? Snow? Oh? Mother hidden away? Ooh, I like the change in the ratio. It makes you think of memories. Ooh, I was just thinking with the follow her long footsteps before, if it is like a generational thing, a shared experience over time, it's like literally walking the same path and feeling like nothing has changed again because you're walking the same footsteps as the person before you. And the snow too, where you can like literally see somebody's footprints in it. Interesting.
같은 눈동자를 가진 그녀를 닮았어일까.
She seems a bit upset. Maybe because like, oh, we have like eyes, whisper, all the little captions of the words. So we have a story going on. I wonder if it's her being upset because you can see like the reflection, the repeat of it. Almost like a, can I rescue her before it's too late? Letting IU's character like get into the car is like, can I rescue you from walking the same path as I did?
상자를 가진 그녀를 닮아서일까 즐거운 악몽이지
Well, you've got to open up the trapdoor. Yeah, she definitely looks... Okay, the hiding away her mother, the person before her, or I don't know if the mother is like literal or if it's symbolic as like a mother in terms of the maternal feeling or a representation of femininity in general, but something that is more caring. There's a protectiveness as well. This song is vague enough that I feel like there are so many different ways to interpret it, different angles that you could take, but also like with the MV, there's mystery to it that I want to solve all. I want to know what all the clues are. Hit her out of love. Yeah, so like clothing that was caught in the trapdoor and then you have it trapped in the trunk of the car. So maybe it's like hiding away those parts of yourself that you're not allowed to express externally. Because even the light, the source of light in this room is like from that trapdoor. So like you have this very dark room, lots of dark coloring, very washed out with the colors. And then you have this spot of red with the piece of the cloth caught in this door and then opening it up and that's where the source of light is. So it's almost like burying something, literally in a trapdoor in the floor and then in the trunk of the car to keep something hidden, but it's still kind of with you. Ooh, and the light faded with the shh. I think it's very interesting to have the mannequins in the background too with ladies fashion. Mannequins literally on display in a window. Maybe because you have details of dreams. I'm just saying. And it's like a repeat again. But they've switched seats. She's not in the driver's seat anymore, but she's smiling. Ooh, and I wonder if like they switched seats, it's almost like what she used to be, and that's why she's smiling and seems less scared, less emotional, less kind of closed off and worried than she does in the other instances. History repeating itself with these different women, these different performers. Yeah, because wasn't that the clothes she was wearing when she was smiling, laughing? Yeah, the mesh sweater she's in the trunk, maybe? Because I don't think that's what she was wearing before. I'm like investigating. Yeah, there she has like the jacket. Like almost like a blazer. Yeah. So it's her, like her old self in the trunk, the one that could like smile and laugh, is in the trunk of the car? We talk about friend too, so mother, friend. Inner child, maybe? Especially with IU having almost like an inner child, a younger self that she's reminiscing about, because IU started being a performer when she was really young. So it's like leaving behind that too early, or wanting to protect that part that didn't actually get to be a child to the full extent that she probably should have. With the red dress too. Oh, did I end the lyric video too quickly? I apologize.
낡은 이야기 하나 있죠. 모두가 다 아는, 그러나 또 모르는 그 이름은.
Oh. Oh, even older pictures there. Again, repeating through time. Ooh. Oh, I see that I missed the ending part there, and I apologize. It's probably super frustrating. Oh, it was a line of like, everyone knows, but it isn't yet known by everyone and no one at the same time. This unspoken passing down of similar experiences, and even the hug there between them, and the acknowledgement of, I know what you've been through and what you're covering up or not talking about. And this idea that every woman that has gone into entertainment, at least in South Korea, though I definitely feel like this can apply to lots of other places in the world, knows what it feels like to go through the experience that they're describing of having to hide parts of yourself and not talk about the parts of yourself that don't fit into the persona and the performer that you are on stage. Her name is Shh. You can't talk about the actual person behind the persona, because that would make them human. That would make them less than idols and performers and these perfectly crafted images that perform in front of people to see the flaws and the cracks in the facade. So it's something that they all have a shared experience about, but they don't talk about because they're not supposed to. Really interesting song. I love it sonically. It's such a bluesy, got some jazzy funk feeling to like the overall sound. The vocal melodies are so pretty, and their voices all just sound so unique and interesting together. And I love it being through different generations of music, but the meaning behind it that I'm just like fascinated by. I feel like it's intentionally has some vague parts in it, not being able to talk about it. Talking about it without talking about it. And it just makes me want to see some behind the scenes. Has IU talked about it in more depth? Has she given some background on the song? Because I didn't do any research before this to know any intention about the song. So I want to know if she's talked about it. Is there behind the scenes where they go in a little more depth about what the song is about? Because I'm curious. I want to know what other people's thoughts are. I'm excited to see other reactions and to dig into some more of the breaking down the song and the music video, because I feel like everyone's going to have other little facts they're pulling from it. That was a fascinating one. I definitely want to get people's thoughts in the comments. I want you to tell me what your thoughts were on that music video, whether your initial thoughts or your thoughts now that you've seen it for the 100th time. I want to know what you took from it, because obviously this is me hearing the song twice total and then seeing the music video once. So there's only so much that I could pull first take, but I have so many thoughts and so many different things that I want to know if that is the intentionality. I want to know if IU has fully talked about the intention behind the song and how much detail she goes into that and how much of it is left up to interpretation, because I feel like the lyrics are deliberately vague to fit in with the theme of the song of there are things that we don't talk about and we're not allowed to talk about, we're not supposed to talk about, and the idea of just drawn out at the end of, we all know what you're trying to say, but you're not allowed to talk about it. So I wonder how much she's actually confirmed about what the song is about. And I just want to go back through the MV because I feel like I was trying to read the notes on the screen while also taking in the story, while also trying to make sure I was kind of paying attention to the lyrics at the bottom to make sure that I was connecting the story. So I feel like there's probably lots of things that I missed. I like the inclusion of these points of red in this more washed out aesthetic because I feel like that fits with like the red breath that was in the lyrics. Again, like anger, frustration, overwhelm, that it felt being like danger, this feeling of stop or don't do that. These warning signs in some way, but also I feel like they can be a symbol of rebellion. Like we had with IU, she had the red sparkly, I don't know if it was like a dress or whatever that she had under the fur coat that she had, the heels, the lipstick, these points of defiance as opposed to the very dark colors that the other woman had, like the blacks and the grays. I wonder how many layers can I pull back on it, and it just makes me want to know what other people are saying about the song and the MV. So let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know if there's links or other places where IU has like talked about it, whether that's like behind the scenes or social media posts, interviews or whatever. Let me know what is out there because I'm fascinated now. But I hope you enjoyed listening to that along with me. You can click over here to watch my Love Wins All reaction, or you can subscribe so you don't miss next time I post probably an IU reaction because we're gonna go down this rabbit hole a little bit with her new music. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.